The Great Resignation is only accelerating, and this is causing a disruption to the workforce like we've never seen before in our lifetimes. Now, I did do a video on the Great Resignation, why so many people are quitting their jobs, and in this video, I'm going to be getting into how you can quit your job professionally. So whether you're going to be going to another position where it better fits what you want to do in life, or let's say you're starting your own business, or you're starting out as a freelancer or a consultant, it's very important to quit your job, to resign professionally, because you don't want to burn bridges. You really don't, because it's not necessary. And a lot of times if you burn those bridges, you're going to end up regretting it, because then you can't use that past experience on your portfolio. And if a future potential client or employer contacts that last job and you didn't quit professionally, it's just going to rub them the wrong way. They're not going to want to hire you, and it can actually stick around for a while. So the first thing to do when you are thinking about quitting your job and you want to do so professionally, you need to ask yourself, is this the right time? Should I be quitting my job right now? Do I have savings in the bank? Do I have something else lined up afterwards where I can transition into? And if you don't, you really kind of need to bite the bullet here and try to get that figured out first, because you don't want to be in a position where you quit your job just out of emotion, you didn't like what you were doing, and then next thing you know, you have no money coming in, you start to go into debt, and then you may have to take another job that you don't like, and then you're kind of back in that cycle. And I've seen a lot of people actually go through that cycle where they get burned out at one job, then they quit without a plan, they live off their savings for a little while, then they get another job that they don't like. So try to break that cycle if that sounds like something that you may actually fall into, and take a step back. And then once you've kind of established that, okay, this is the right time to quit, I want to do so professionally, I have savings, I have a plan of what I want to do next, that's when you want to give as much notice as possible. And a lot of times you hear the standard, just give 2 weeks, right? And this is kind of the minimum. But if you are in a position that, let's say, is a pretty good job, you want to be able to use your past experience on your resume and things like that, you want to give more than 2 weeks. When I left my 9-to-5 position, I gave a full month notice. And when you give that notice, you want to do so in a letter of resignation once you've made your full decision. And you want to do so in writing, so that's all on paper, and send it via email. And when you send that letter of resignation, you also want to ask for a time to meet with the managers so you can talk them through it, have a discussion about why you're leaving, be transparent, and then that way, once again, you're coming off as professional. So you're not just giving them a little bit of a 2-week notice and saying, hey, I'm out of here in 2 weeks, by the way. You're giving them a full month. But also remember, they may actually ask you to just leave. If they're like, hey, you know what, you don't want to work here anymore, that's fine, you can leave. Now, you have to be ready for that. But at the same time, you also want to give them a month, because that really just comes off as the right thing to do. And that gives them a couple weeks to find someone to replace you. And then you can actually train them, or at least help them a little bit get ready for that next job, because you're going to be leaving. So when it comes to being professional, you want to use good communication. You want to send that letter of resignation. You want to do it in an email, and you want to give at least a month notice. More than 2 weeks is really just the best bet there for yourself. And then from there, what you want to do is, during that meeting with the manager, be open with them, like we were saying, because that can actually lead to something else. So whether that is you continuing to still help the company, maybe working remotely from home for a certain amount of hours a week while you transition, or you could go into, let's say, a part-time remote role instead of working full-time in the office. So ask yourself, why do you even want to quit? Is it because you don't like the work you're doing? You don't like the company you're working for? You have another position? Or is it actually something else? Is it that you don't like coming into the office every day now with everything that's going on, and you want to be able to work from home? You have to really get down to the root of why you're even quitting. And then once you do that, you're going to actually be able to quit in the most professional manner possible. And once you do that, I'm telling you, that really is going to be the best bet, because your future self is going to thank you. You're not going to have just quit out of emotion, and it's going to set you up on the right foot. And whenever you need a referral, that is going to come up in so much handy, because now you can give them the past job, and they're going to be so much more likely to give you a good review, give you a good testimonial, because you did it in a professional way and it was all business. Remember that when you're doing this, try to leave emotion out of it, Because in a professional setting, it's just business, and especially when it's your own career, you have to take control of that. You need to do what you think is right for you. And that's the amazing part with this whole Great Resignation, is that it's not just one sector of workers that are quitting. It is across the board. So it is hospitality, but it's also, six-figure managerial roles. And the reason is because people have more choices than ever before. So really start to weigh out your options, see what the best choice is for you and where you actually want your career to go in the long run. And more people than ever before are actually starting their own businesses, going into business for themselves. And that is actually helping the economy because it's creating new companies, new jobs that are going to actually be there in the future. So this is the best time if you are considering a career change, if you're ready to quit your job, use these tips. Quit your job professionally. Make sure you get that notice in well above 2 weeks' time. Make sure you do it in writing so there's nothing that's, unclear there. And then be as helpful as you can during that transition period. If they do want to help you train someone, listen, I know that's not what you want to do. You're probably just ready. You're over the job. You want to go on to your next endeavor. Kind of just sucking it up and training that person, helping them understand that their new role, that's also just the nice thing to do. It's going to make that person feel much more comfortable, right? Because imagine if it was you coming into a brand new job and, you're replacing someone who was quitting. If they're helpful, it really makes that transition so much easier for you. Whereas if they kind of just blew you off and didn't help you, and then you didn't get the proper training at the job. So remember that, always act professionally. And if you want to learn more about freelancing, entrepreneurship, and creating lifestyle freedom, check out all the other videos on my channel. I go over just that, all the in-demand skills, how to work from home, how to create a freelancing business that you can actually start as a side hustle and then eventually turn it into your full-time stream of income. My name is Paul Mendez with Profitable Freelancer, and until the next video, I look forward to your success.